Welcome to the video tutorial for the netbook carts or the cow carts here at Fossil Ridge. In this tutorial, we'll talk about the basics of the netbook carts, how to check them out to students and manage them in the classroom, and then also how to check them out through the shared calendar. The netbooks are a more portable and durable version of our old laptop carts we had for students. A couple of the features that you'll notice: one, they have an external battery, which means that students no longer need to string the power cords across the classroom in order to maintain power. The battery life is actually pretty good. It's been known to last all day, running through 8 hours, so with all class periods. You want to double check though and just keep an eye on the power level, but students do not need to plug these into cords while using them. We also have 2 USB drives and a card reader on this device. The carts will continue to be stored in the library workroom. When you come into the library right past my office, you'll see the workroom, and you go straight through the workroom and there's a door in the back. You go through that door and you'll see the carts on the left. I do have the key just in case the workroom is locked or the door to the AV room is locked. We're going to use a shared Outlook calendar this year for checkout. And again, this is a process that we can continue to revise if we need to. But you should have received an invitation to open a shared calendar. There are 4 shared calendars, 1 for each cart. So if you need 2 carts, for example, you would need to open 2 different calendars and to put your name down as a new appointment for 2 carts. When you're in Outlook and you click on your Calendars tab, you should see underneath your shared calendars Cow Cart 1, Cow Cart 2, Cow Cart 3, and Cow Cart 4. So right now I have all 4 of those selected so that I can see each one in my Outlook calendar view. This way I can check to see which ones are available on which days, or if I know that I'm specifically assigning students to Cow Cart 1 and 2, I can just open those to view them. To create a reservation, click on New Appointment and then put your last name in the subject line, and then that should be about it unless there's any specific details or instructions you want to leave in the message. It is really important that when you take the netbook carts back to your room, you have assigned each machine to a student so that they sign in using the same machine, and I'll talk about that, why that's important, in just a little bit. We want them to sign in, and we want to keep documentation in case there's any kind of security issue, in case there's any kind of damage to the machine and we need to track down the student responsible. Another thing about having the netbook carts in your room, when you do have them in your room, go ahead and keep them plugged in so that any machines that are not in student use are still receiving power and charging. Also, it's important to go ahead and put those netbooks back in the cart in between class periods or during lunch so that they can charge. The batteries, like I said, are very good, but we want to keep them charged whenever possible. This is a silly thing, but it happens every year. So we just need to remind you that before you move the cart, double check to make sure that the power is off and that the cord is disconnected from the wall. Apparently there are numerous work tickets put in every year from people ripping out the outlet when they're trying to move those carts or damaging the prongs on the carts themselves. So we just want to be careful with those. How you distribute and collect notebooks is up to you. If your students are very familiar with the procedures with the netbooks and you feel comfortable that they can go to the carts and take them out themselves and put them back, then that is perfectly fine. They're very simple to put back in the carts. They just slide in, and then there's a release button to press to pull them back out since there are no cords involved. So it is very simple. Make sure that each student receives the same netbook each time, and make sure that netbook is from the same cart. So if they have netbook number 3 from cart 4, when you go to check out carts again, make sure you get cart 4 so that that student can have that machine. I've been hearing a lot of concern that the netbooks are very slow, and this is due to the network. In actuality, I've been told that the netbooks are slow because we are not allowing students to build a profile on the same machine so that the login time is faster. The network should be able to handle students logging in at the same time. If all the students are on the internet, for example, you might see some decrease in the internet speed, but we should be able to get them logged in pretty quickly. One tip would be, if you plan to use the netbooks throughout the year, go ahead and schedule a day for just netbook orientation for your kids. Take the netbooks up to your room, go ahead and get them assigned so that the students know I am number 3 on cart 4, and get them logged in initially so that it can build the profile. And that first login is the one that takes the longest because it's building their profile. And then you can just do some basic introductions. If you have a class website, you can go ahead and get them following it, or a class Facebook fan page if they have access. But it might be a good idea just to have an orientation day if you intend to use the netbooks regularly. Student login credentials are the same as they are for the rest of the machines in the building, and students are very used to this. It's their student ID is their username, and the password is the first initial of their first, middle, and last names with their birthday with no extra zeros. So you can see the example below. And if you have issues with student logins, that would be a 1200 ticket issue. So if you call 1200, just explain to them that you have an issue with student login. They should be able to take care of you. Please remember to return to the cart to the library workroom at the end of your scheduled day. Please do not wait until the next morning to bring it back by, because that teacher who's using it that next day might be looking for it in the morning, and we want to make sure that it's charging overnight in the workroom so it's ready for the next day's use. When you bring your cart back, bring your student sign-in form as well. And if you have students signed into the same computer each time, talk to me, and rather than turning in a form each time, maybe we keep a master form down here. And if you have additions or deletions from your class, we can just update that master form. But talk to me and we'll work out a process for you so that you don't have to turn in a piece of paper each time. This concludes our tutorial. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to email me, audrey.wilson, or give me a call down in the library. It is 1722.